Hi, everyone, and welcome. We are so excited to welcome you all to Parity Consulting's podcast, Success WoMantras. Thank you for being here and joining us today. We are very excited for today's conversation with Arundathi Rao, who is the Director, Global IT at HPE. Welcome, Arundhati, and let's jump right in.
Hi Pia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and you? I like your background, Arundhati. I can tell you love to read. So, Arundhati, it's such a delight to be sitting here across from you. You have an experience of 37 years where you have worked with great companies in very critical roles. Please share with us what have been some of the key defining moments of your career?
So if I look at my career journey per se, right, I need to start from way back when I just graduated. When I graduated in 1986, there were not many private sector at all. Private sector came in late 80s and early 90s. When I graduated, it wasn't much. So 1986, when I graduated, I was looking for a public sector jobs, and I wanted to join something immediately. So I went and joined as a lecturer. So I was working as a lecturer in Coimbatore Institute of Technology, and then I got an offer in defense R&D as a scientist, but that I had to do a 1 year fellowship in Pune. So, and the constraint there was I'll do a 1 year fellowship in Pune, and then if they find me good, if I pass all those tests, then I will get a posting in Bangalore or wherever, right? So here I was getting the UGC pay scale. The dean of that institute was so supportive of me. He was telling I can do my PhD there, and he will support me throughout. And I had my secure home to stay, and I leave all of that and I go off to Pune, where I don't even know whether my job, whether I'll have a job at the end of the year, and whether I'll be able to stay at the place where I want to stay. Right? It was all very iffy. So thanks to my mom's support, when I asked her, she was perfectly okay with me to go. She told, "Do what is best for you." So I take that and I move. So I joined. Then after 1 year, I luckily I got through and I got posted in Bangalore, and I was part of the team developing the radar transmitter for airborne early warning systems. So I was part of the radar transmitter team, and I was working there. And after 9 years in defense R&D, I switched to Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Again, another big shift, right? A government job, class one gazetted officer with lifetime of pension, lifetime of insurance, and mostly secure job if you do not mess up. And to a place which was completely a private sector, the job is not guaranteed. Anytime I could be fired, and I still took that change from a government job to a private job, right? And then within HPE, I have never done the same role for more than 2 years. I've always been transitioning to new roles, new bunch of people. Even if the role is not significantly changed, I would have worked with a totally a new group of people with a new set of problems. So that there is a change always, right? And then I was rebadged to DXC. I worked in DXC for 2.5 years, managing the application delivery of all the HPE, Hewlett Packard accounts like HPE, HPI, and Micro Focus. And then I went to EY. In Ernst& Young, I worked for 2 years as the head of engineering for India. And then I came back in client technology, and I came back to HPE in 2021 when HPE re-established its IT in India, and they wanted me back to head the organization. So if I look at my career journey, I've always changed and I've always taken risks, and a lot of learning. It has been a beautiful, beautiful journey. Um,
And you make it sound so easy, but because, one of the things that really stands out from what you just shared, of course, in a nutshell, is how you've just taken up new roles, right? New challenges. So it seems like taking on challenges, and getting out of your comfort zone has been very important to you. So can you talk a little bit about that? Why have you constantly pushed yourself like that? How were you able to do it?
I think I love taking risks. That is something which I which I love. I think that is part of my DNA, I guess. So I always challenge myself and I try to do something different. Even within HPE, right? I was part of the systems team for the first 6 years. And then I moved into an IT role and I had to go to US for 2 years and I had to come back. And that time there was some, divestitures, mergers going on. And my boss called up and told, Arundathi, I think you should come back now because then you would be part of Hewlett Packard. Otherwise, you'll become part of another company. And I was thinking, I think it's okay. Though I was not intending to stay back in US, I was very much wanting to come back. But I thought just hurrying up for another, coming back to the previous role just because I'll be worried about what the future is not something which I was excited about. So I think taking risk was something which I always loved. And I think the learning also was very good. So it was not that every time I took a risk, it was a major success. I had some disasters as well, but those disasters have made me much more resilient. And today, when people are struggling, I tell just hold on, just be a little patient. And this is a passing time, and you'll be able to get over it. There will be a lot of learning, right? So learning happens during those challenging times. Your resilience gets tested. If I look back, in spite of all that ups and downs that I went through in the last 37 plus years, I still want to work. So I feel there is something which keeps me going on is to be able to, interact with people. Mine is more towards, you know, people management, getting the best out of people and using technology to do that. So that is how it works.
That's great. And what have been some key attributes, Arundhati, that have led to your success? I mean, we spoke about embracing challenges, but I'm sure in such a long and fruitful career, there have been ups and downs. What has kept you going?
So one is my attitude, right? With respect, so one, in HR world they tell hire for the will and train for the skill, right? One is the skill part of it. You can learn on the job, right? You will always the new technology. You will be able to learn on the job. But I think the will is much more important. The attitude, can do it attitude, and it's okay to fail attitude. It is okay to not be 100% perfect. So the attitude part of it is very important. And and then learning that you are ready to learn something new. From when I moved from systems to IT, I was not familiar with IT at all. And IT, I went from an internal IT organization within HP. I went to a customer facing organization. And I went through some of the toughest of my challenges during that time. Learned a lot, right? And then I came and overnight, the people that I worked with became my customers. So I had to totally move the organization towards a new change. So we had a lot of management of change, and trained the teams on how to deal with your colleagues who have become your customers now. I had an initiative around it. So a lot of learnings. You are ready to learn. You are ready to take on the challenges. You want to take the risk, and you are okay to fail. Those are the key attributes that you need, to sustain and grow.
I really like that. I think, again, through your conversation, the one thing that really jumps out is your attitude, right? And you talk about it, not giving up and going through, when you're going through hard times, to just keep going through it, which is not easy, of course. And that's why I said you make it sound very easy. But I think that's why those are the kind of situations that make us resilient, right? So I think that's a useful tip. So Arundhati, please do share with us what have been some of the key highlights in your career that you're very proud of.
See, it's all through the teams. I would All the accomplishments that I have done is all through the teams. It's not individual accomplishment. My teams have made me extremely successful, and I'm so proud of leading them. Right. Some of the early ones were in the HP world when I was part of the SDSD, the systems technology part of it. One of my teammates, he was a fresh grad. Okay, and we did something called as DHCP v6, the IPv6 version of DHCP, which was the first ever implementation in the world that we did it. All right, and there are a lot of IETF drafts that got published, And I also won an award for implementing the market leading internet services products on HPUX, we which we bundle it and ship it along with HPUX. So all that in the early part of my career in Hewlett Packard. And the IT transformation that we have done, I think in Hewlett Packard and Hewlett Packard Enterprise, I think when it comes to technology, we work on the latest and the greatest. So the IT teams have been, consistent changes, consistent transformation happening all the time. When I was recognizing people just a couple of months back on private cloud migration, we did a huge migration of applications to the HPE's private cloud. And just some 15 years back, we had done another data center migration, which was supposedly top notch at that time. And 15 years down the line, that was no more top notch, right? So the kind of transformation that we have kept pace with in Hewlett Packard in terms of IT transformation, even 1 year back, we celebrated the next generation IT transformation. So a lot of IT transformation work that I have been part of are all very, those are the ones which I'm very proud of.
Okay. I'm tempted to go back to what we just spoke about in terms of resilience. Tell us, Arundhati, is that something that people can nurture and acquire? Is that something you have it or you don't?
No, I think all of these can be nurtured, right? Because finally, for living, you need this. The problems are not going to go away. The challenges are not going to go away. But you want to create a happy space around yourself. How do you do it? Right? So one way of dealing with it is that come what may, I will preserve my integrity and ethics part of it. And then I learn to deal with it, right? There are fundamentals which is not negotiable. For me, the fundamentals, non-negotiables are ethics and integrity. The way in which you treat people, the trust and respect for people. Those are fundamentals. You don't negotiate on that. The rest of it, you just see what is it needed to that some people tell, oh, politics. So in everywhere you go, there will be the magnitude of the politics could be different, but you cannot tell it will be, there are going to be biases. There are going to be unconscious biases. People might not even be aware that they are biased, right? It could be unconscious bias. You're going to have challenges related to people, related to technology. Technology challenges are easier to solve than people challenges. But the maximum I've learned is through the people challenges, right? You know how to deal with a person who thinks differently, and then you figure out a way to make it work with that person. And giving up is not an option, because how long will you keep changing your jobs? How long will you keep going after roles because, oh, I cannot work with this person? No, I cannot work with this person. So that becomes unsustainable. So in fact, you become a person that you can work with most of the people and you will make it work. You know how to make it work, right? Sometimes it will be challenging. Sometimes they make it as a breeze, but you know how to make it work. And then you do not allow it to affect you. So you need to build it. I think the fact you have to be aware. How do you deal with it? You have to be aware. You have to be aware, telling this is what is happening and I'm not giving up. And let me work through it, right? So being in awareness, because when you are in awareness, you'll be able to make better decisions. So this giving up on all comes in not being in awareness. I do not want to deal with it. I'm going off. That is, for me, that is so easy to make. Let me see what I can do, right? So the non-negotiables are there, but beyond that, how can I make it work? Because if I'm going to, I tell people, you go and drop this and go somewhere else. Do you think that the problems are going to go away? Instead of X, it is going to be Y. Instead, learn how to deal with this X so that you can deal with the multiple Ys later.
No, that's important. And in fact, that was what I wanted to end our conversation with, by asking you that we all work with people, whether it's in person or whether it's remotely, but what do we get wrong about working with people? Because, we all hear about politics, toxic workplaces, what is going wrong, of course, mental wellness of people is very important. So what are we getting wrong? Or what could we do better?
So yeah, I'm a positive person. So instead of looking at so I would
Sure.
say that what can you create, right? Create a
Yeah.
safe space for yourself. So get enroll some ambassadors into your conversation. You realize that there are people with similar my mindset like you, who have the similar stuff like you. Start enrolling them into your conversation so that you can bounce off your ideas and see whether you are thinking too much or your issues are really true, right? So you start having some people that you can bounce off your ideas with, or you can share your problems with, so that you have somebody to bank on with, to go to and talk to, right? I will suggest that always have friends at work that you can trust. You can go and check with them on what you're doing is right or wrong, your thoughts. So create safe space for yourself in that environment where you have some trusted people that you can talk to. Second is, fortunately, I am part of a company which has supported transparency, and we call it as open culture. Anybody can reach out to any level and talk. So I am part of that culture, and I love Hewlett Packard Enterprise for that open culture. So talk to people and find out what you can do about it, right? If you feel that something is not right, stand up and fight. And Hewlett Packard Enterprise, for me, has supported me extremely well when I've had challenging issues, and I should be able to go and take care of it. So similarly, for others, they will have an office environment where they should be able to reach out to people that can help them out. Do not give up. So if you try all those options, and all choices are always there, but try out all those options before you decide to move on. That would be my advice.
Excellent. Very useful tips, Arundhati. So before we wrap up, any closing comments that you'd like to leave for all the people listening in today?
My closing comment would be one thing, right? Have a bigger purpose in life. When you have a bigger purpose, all of these things will become a smaller one. My purpose is to make a difference in the lives of people. So when I bring that purpose into everything I do, it becomes much easy for me to deal up with all these smaller problems. I feel that the purpose is much bigger, so deal with this, right?
Yeah.
So have a bigger purpose in life, which will make you get up in the morning and make you take that first step. And everything else is solvable. So live for your bigger purpose, and then deal with the others as they come. And no problem is big enough for you to give up.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Arundhati, for your time today. This was a very interesting conversation. I think the biggest takeaway for me has been to keep a positive and a resilient attitude, because, a career has lots of ups and downs, but we have to keep going on. And as long as we're driven by a purpose, it's not that difficult. So thank you again for being here, Arundhati.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.